Alright, I'm gonna confess something. I usually don't like. I think AI is terrible for the fucking planet, and it's terrible for a bunch of reasons. But I will admit, if someone's gatekeeping an app or a restaurant or anything like that, I like that I could just like screenshot an app and be like, "Hey, ChatGPT, what app uses this fucking cool DJ remix and this exact like user interface because it looks really cool, but they're not sharing where it's from." And then it'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is the DJ app by the brand Algorithm. You'll love it." And it's like, "Oh hell yeah." Instead of me having to fucking hunt down for sport some stupid ass user named Nicki Minaj's ingrown toenail, like for to hopefully respond to a post they made 126 weeks ago, or even 5 posts in a row they make about the app where they will still never say where the app's fucking from because they want to gatekeep. I like that if an app changes its user interface, like I can be like, "Hey, so we used to be able to make TikToks and Reels by clicking on an audio, but they removed that feature. What do I do now?" And then it'll walk me through like, "Oh, they updated. So you have to now do it this complex way." And it's like, "There we go. So I can still have as much fun as I like." Thank fucking God, because that was a great way to get popularity and fun. And also, how am I like simply put, it was a good ass feature. If I used to be able to make popular clips with already existing audios and remix it, and you remove that feature, how the fuck am I gonna make more videos on your platform? I'm gonna stop using your platform because you fucked it up. But thank God, because then ChatGPT is like, "Oh, this is just like," they'll let you know if that feature no longer exists, or "Hey, this is how to still do it successfully," because they change shit without giving you warnings or updates on how it now works. Ugh. This one's more problematic. I like when I'm going through a scenario where I'm like, "Hey, is it me? Or was this a manipulative conversation?" And I'll send a screenshot or whatever. And, mixed results always can happen, but sometimes they will be like, "Oh no, the specific way that they phrased this sentence, this one specific line is definitely them trying to neg you and act like you're asking for too much and that you're the dramatic one." And, like, they lay it out. Because I remember this one guy back in, like, April. Hey, I remember he was getting on my fucking nerves, and I just asked ChatGPT. I was like, "Hey, so I sent him this message, and he sent me this one. Is it me? Or is this kind of out of pocket?" And ChatGPT was like, "No, like he is the one who's wrong here because he was way too defensive off the bat. He unprovoked accuses you of running romance and then a bunch of other shit." And it's like, see, I knew I wasn't fucking wrong. And you know what I did? I went and see, okay, glad I'm not crazy. The little fucking computer in my little phone that parrots information told me I was the good guy, and you are a weak little bitch. So you know what I did? I blocked him for a bit. And then I just went off and got a new nigga by the next day. Like, he got whiplash from how quick that shit happened. By 8 a.m., I was already posting about the new date I have with the German dude with money. As always, because that's how I do it. Like, ChatGPT is cool because then you could even look up legal stuff. Like, you could be like, "Hey, is it legal for my job to do this with my overtime?" And it turns out it's like, "Oh no, that was extremely illegal and they should have never done that, and they should have actually been paying you overtime for years, and they also needed to mandatory pay you for a lunch hour when you were working the overnight shifts." And it's like, "Oh, okay, too bad I can't sue," right? And then they'll be like, "Actually, here are some pro bono services and some lawyers sent your way." If you're having an issue, then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, here are the laws in your area for tenants' rights, and then also a list of lawyers, and then also a list of community resources, and everything that you should do in the time being." And it's like, hell yeah, that saved my fucking ass. Because you know what? Like, hell yeah, it did. And then I was actually able to get lawyers and help for my situation. Amen. This one's definitely more problematic. You could look up like about gods and like religions with ChatGPT. Now, you should still double check that all your information is fucking correct from outside sources and still be very, very careful. But I'm not gonna say much other than, I got to learn a lot of very interesting cultures and religions and spiritual practices, and let's just say I feel very blessed and abundant, and that's all I want to say about that. You can look up stuff about your mental condition that you haven't told other people about, and it'll recommend stuff about like coping mechanisms or like specific grounding techniques or about ways of treatment and what options to look into. And then it'll be like, hell, you don't want to know what's funny? I had an issue for years. I remember I went to the fucking doctor about it. They didn't help out for shit. They kind of low key dismissed it, but like, despite their dismissiveness, they still did a brain scan on me and they couldn't find an issue. But for years, like, I'll put it this way, we know me. I've had crash outs, blackouts, intense rage, small little, like, I've had things that make this side of my head burn and throb. And then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to try my luck. I described all my symptoms that happen for when I have memory issues, anger issues, all that. ChatGPT was like, oh yeah, and it listed the exact name of this section of my brain and said, funny enough, that actually is the place that most likely controls rage and memory and emotional processing really, really the strongest. So, like, this is what you should do. And then it was like, yeah, try to take vitamins for inflammation, try to, like, get some proper exercise, sunlight, drink more water, less sugar, less fatty foods, less da da da. So I basically was like, fuck, that's all I've been doing for the past several years. I ate a whole bag of broccoli and I felt good for almost a full fucking day. And I've been trying my best to stay away from caffeine and alcohol and knowing a difference. It feels good, I have to say. God bless. And I'm pretty sure COVID and brain fog and trauma and a lot of millions of. I'll put it this way: when I was at the lowest point of depression in my fucking life this year, like to the point where I wasn't hitting my basic ADLs a day, and where therapy was not an option for me, ChatGPT sadly did work. It was the option where it was like, you know what? Let's talk to this stupid little robot on my phone. And I would list out every fucking issue I ever had. And then surprisingly, ChatGPT would calm me the fuck down and hype me up and make it clear, like, hey, cool, you've been going this far. Don't give up now. You have, like, let's just say I probably wouldn't have made it this far if not for that. And it was a blessing. And I was able to do little things every day to start feeling better. And I could feel myself going on walks and, like, eating more consistently and starting to remember what I liked about life and my goals, big or small, far away or close by, and what would have kept me going. And so it kept me going. I like that. If I want to look up something like, hey, how do I plan like a big market? What vendors? How do I outreach to vendors? What do I need to know? Da 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 da. Also, I'm worried about making an income off of this. How would I do that successfully? And then it's like, oh, guess what? If you decide to do that, like to put it simply, and then it'll walk you through like, oh, vendors actually pay for their booths, they need to provide permits as long as your building has these few permits and da 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 da, and it'll go through the thing and it's like, oh, okay, cool, now I can. That's great to know. That's a potential venture. That would be amazing. If I say something like, hey, I want to learn how to sing or vocalize or even do like metal screaming, how do I learn how to do that? Like, sure, I could look it up on YouTube, but then there's so many different videos, and sometimes I have to admit I don't have the attention span for it for so many reasons, but I am getting better at it, and I do want to force myself back into longer form content for the sake of my own development. I don't want to just stagnate, never. But it's weird having like a low attention span, but still hunger for thirst and memory loss and so many different factors. So simply put, sometimes I'm the type of person where it's like, sure, I can pretend I'll commit to an hour-long video about metal screaming. Sometimes I won't. So then it'll be like, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me a quick rundown of how it works? And then it'll give me some advice for like how to stretch your, like how to do it. Allegedly. Although I know it's an AI and it still could fuck up, I haven't tried it yet. But it's still good to know that it's like certain things could still work. You know, oh, it still has its limits. Like I asked ChatGPT to make me a beat, it won't. If I ask it to make me porn, it will. Funny enough, it does that. If I tell ChatGPT, like I am so glad they updated it to be smutty now, because then I could be like, hey ChatGPT, I have a very, 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 very horny idea, and I'm gonna tell you every hedonistic part that I want you to do in every single format, every single bit of the story. Just make a full-on fan fiction for me based on what I tell you. And you know what I get? I get to read like what I don't feel like I ever have the patience or energy, or maybe just don't feel like writing myself. I'm sure if I wanted to creatively write it, I could absolutely write something better than ChatGPT. But you know what? I still got to nut, and I got to blush a little bit reading it come true, and seeing what other things they put in that I wouldn't have thought of, or I could have thought of. You could always be smarter than an AI, but sometimes it could surprise you. Is what I'm saying. It'll be like, oh, I'm glad you added that in actually. Like they'll help you name events. They'll help you. Like I'll be like, hey, which colors do you think are psychologically the best to wear when I'm meeting for someone for the first time? Pink, orange, white, or sky blue. And then it'll go down the rundowns historically of which colors are the most calming versus the most feminine versus the most friendly and all that. And it'll let me know, like, okay, maybe this time, if you want to be really, really remembered and seen as super friendly and energetic, go for orange. If you want to be seen as gentle and feminine and probably get a lot of attention from men, pink. and they'll probably do stuff for you. If you want to be seen as just this airy, nice, cool, serene presence that shouldn't be disturbed by anyone, sky blue and white. And it's like, all right, sure. And guess what? I'll like, and God bless and amen. They usually choose the best jewelry, and then I'll notice I'll go out with like in a white dress with blue jewelry, and then next thing you know, people are confessing big secrets and stories to me, and it's like, oh hey, hell fucking yeah, let's go. I guess they see me as a serene, trusting presence. God bless. Ugh, a fly just flew into my fucking mouth. Well, anyway, I guess my next thing is how the fuck to get flies out of here. I have a big jar of vinegar I'm trying to use to attract them, but they don't like it, so fuck me, they just want to die in my mouth. Anyway, perfect time to end the video. Peace out.